I am here to talk about a lot of stuff going on with Star Wars. Uh, First, the big news again, Susan Arnold. Now today, let's see, I gotta do this. Sorry guys, excuse me. My nose, you guys know my nose just goes and goes and goes. Um, she comes from uh, the stakeholders part of uh, the world. Carlyle Group, la di da. Some people are upset about that. Well, she's consumer based. This will suck. No, it is not going to suck. We don't know this yet. Uh, Listening to Cameron Pasha on Doomcock the other night was last night, I guess, um, was an eye opener. What you've got is the revelation that the investors, which I called, if you remember, going and getting your way back machines. Hey, Jonathan, I said that the investors would start seeing the fact that Iger and Kennedy are not doing their jobs, and uh, that they would get in there and take control, and they have. So that's what's happening. When Susan Arnold was revealed to be going to go in as chairman of the board, um, uh, that was a revelation. You know, Cameron likes to use the example of Darth Maul being the apprentice. Hey, Euler Greg, if you heard anything about that thing I talked to you about, send me an email. All right, send me an email. Darth Maul. There are two. Whatever Yoda said. Then we have the revelation that Susan Arnold is going to be appointed as the first female chairman of the board of Disney. She takes the part of Roy Disney. Okay, that's a big deal. She is now the most powerful woman in Hollywood. Okay, KK is this big now. Okay, she's this big. No one from Susan Arnold's point of view gives a shit about what she thinks or does. So this is going to be interesting going forward because the rumor that came out that WW Pro put out there that, and I'm going to say this, Matt Maloney said in that article, the movies have to be taken away from KK, and 2 weeks later we get this rumor leaked. That's exactly where this was going. That rumor that he put out there was put out there for a reason, okay? And then he added like a side note, oh yeah, did you hear she got a 3-year extension? I don't think she's gonna be there a year, okay? We were all right. She's getting an extension, but she's not there anymore. Now again, you get some people who don't understand what a figurehead is. A figurehead gets a check. Hey, John, stares out the window and does yoga poses or whatever she does in her spare time. I don't know. But again, if there's something else at work here, there might be a very good reason why she got this. Okay. Now, I did tell a few people that are closer to the business than I am that didn't know what I was talking about this. And the other night, Doomcock basically said, your, how did he put it? I can't remember. And I can't remember at what moment he said it during Friday Night Frolics. But he said, you're on the right track. And I don't know whether it was with Harrison Ford getting hurt and then slow rolling Indy. All right. Basically, doing a rickroll on them so the movie could slow down so they could basically stop the avalanche of bullshit that was about to happen and get someone to undermine Phoebe Waller-Bridge's bullshit. Um, yes, Harrison Ford went out to dinner with her and her beard or whatever that guy was. But, and Callista, what did Callista eat? I'll just have a celery stick. I mean, she looks, I mean, she doesn't look good. She really doesn't. But that doesn't mean that he's going to invite Phoebe Waller-Bridge out to Wyoming to ride horses. Okay, that ain't gonna happen. In fact, I would look at that dinner as a write-off, period. It was a business thing. They might actually really like each other. I don't know. But if he did what I think he did, all right, now that's one thing. That Harrison Ford was the one that said, this is bad. And then, oh, I heard. I could see him doing that too. This guy, let me tell you, if you ever want to find out just what kind of a Machiavellian guy he is, read the Entertainment Weekly, I've got it, interview with him and about filming The Devil's Own. A lot of shit went down, and he and Melissa Matheson, I'm on Team Matheson, by the way, were getting shit. Like, they were the ones to blame, and he was pissed. And I think a lot of people in Hollywood disappeared after that because he was mad about some shit going on. Because his wife was an Oscar-winning writer. She wrote E.T. Immediately, if there's any problems, hey, Raven's Journey, or is that Revan's Journey? Raven's Journey, okay. That if you wanted to make up a story, you could easily make one up about Harrison Ford and Melissa Matheson and writing these movies, writing that movie, or doing rewrites for the movie. Anyway, let's go. Or it was Spielberg and Lucas, or it was a combination of all three. I don't know, Jonathan. I hope so. I think they're probably on the brink. They need to get something out there for both. So let me go back to my point. So, yeah, Harrison Ford himself. Then you got a combination of the three. And remember, George Lucas is the single biggest investor in Disney. No, by the way, Susan Arnold has been on the board of directors at Disney since 2007. And her last thing was she represented the individual investors. You want to make a bet that she's friends with George Lucas? Because I would, and I think I'd win that bet. Okay? You want to know who's behind this? And if you know anything about George, you don't fuck with George. You don't fuck with George. He will come in a way you haven't seen. I mean, this is the guy that created Darth Sidious and wipe you out. Okay? All right, so you got that. Or it was just the big investment houses, Carlyle Group and saying, we need to fix this. We're not getting paid dividends. Our clients are getting really upset. We need to get someone who knows how to make money and put them in there. And that's what happened. But this thing with Susan Arnold started a long time ago. Okay, like when they put Chapek up there. Because Chapek was an Iger's guy. There's a reason why Alan Horn is leaving. Okay? Alan Horn is leaving because he's never going to be chairman of the board of Disney. And he was Iger's pick. The big dudes, the investors, picked Bob Chapek. And who represents those guys? Susan Arnold. Now she's the ultimate power. She is the person that Bob Chapek answers to. And the moment Iger does his long goodbye, Chapek is like, it's mine now. I can do what I want. Despite what the naysayers are saying, Disney needs this. They need a reality check about money. Okay? They're not making any. Okay? People complaining about Galaxy's Edge Hotel. Let's go into that for a second. I'm going to assume you guys saw that trailer. That's my dishwasher. Okay, that trailer was an abomination. Okay, it was an abomination. All right, let me repeat. That was an abomination. It was awful. And it probably, we can't tell if they get ratioed anymore, but I'm sure it got ratioed into the dust. The comments were like, and remember Chapek bragging that the hotel was booked all the way solid, all the way for 4 months? Ah, thanks. Try 4 months. They were losing reservations. Well, here's the deal, and I said this on Echo Base Network's Facebook page. There are going to be fans out there, not a lot of them, but they're very loud, that they're not going to like anything. You could get Jaina and Jason in the movie. You know, we're going to have Grand Admiral Thrawn. Lars Mikkelsen is likely playing him. Have all this stuff going on, right? Hey, Snorty. And they won't like it because it's not what they want. All right, and if they don't get what they want, they're going to call it woke, which it won't be. They're going to attack it, and they're going to shit on it, and they're going to call you guys, you're not Star Wars fans. Okay, that's what they're going to say. Well, yeah, and my thing is, if they feel this way, then they should go and not bother us anymore. All right? I mean, they should not be involved with it anymore. Okay? They should not. They should just play in their little sandbox, be happy, and that's it. I am done with this shit. Okay, I really, really am. Lots of reasons, but, so you've got $6,000 for a weekday rate, not a weekend rate. Oh, I know, Trayla. When you look at the berths, it looks like, okay, fine. It's supposed to be a ship's cabin. I get it. But when you look at the windows, they're flat screen TVs. When you watched it, you didn't get a feeling that was Star Wars. It was just this generic dumpster fire. They should have waited a year for this and got it right. Then we get this throwback to The Fifth Element singing a song that was cringe. All right? And then, of course, we all know about the schedules. You check in, you go up to your room, you get your luggage situated, maybe you take a shower, but you got to be down to muster, like a Marine, like 20 minutes after you check in. You can't just go where you want. You can't go to a restaurant outside the ship. You can't, or if it's immersive, they're not going to let you cosplay. You can't bring your own stuff, which is probably way better than theirs. They'll make you take it off, and you have to put theirs on. Okay, literally, you have to put their costumes on. You know, I look at Chapek and I go, did you know they were doing this? This is my idea. Make the thing bigger. Put a casino in there. You know, you could have someone cosplaying Lando Calrissian. You know, they are going to have sabacc lessons. Okay, fine. Have a sabacc tournament going on. Have a dive bar then. Have, you know, a guy wandering around, a young Han Solo, and get a appropriately heighted Chewbacca. Even if you have to go rob an NBA team of their center, do it. You know, you have Leia. You know, you have a fine dining restaurant, and have Leia show up. You know, there, maybe with Han. Okay, there. You have Vader show up. You have Luke, and get Galaxy's Edge to what it's supposed to be, which is Tatooine. I disagree strongly that they can't fix that. I mean, everybody I know who's gone to the park has said all they have to do is reskin it, and it's back to what it should be. Okay, you know, everything bad that's going on right now at the Galaxy's Edge thing and at this hotel is ultimately Kathleen Kennedy's fault because she was the one that demanded that the sequel trilogy be what they had represented there, not Star Wars. And, you know, you've got little kids asking, where's Luke? Where's Han? You know, Chewbacca's running around. Why isn't Solo there? Okay. But you got it regimented, the hotel. It's not a vacation. It's a 45-hour Navy SEAL hell week. Okay? And if you look at the berths, oh my God. You have to go outside in the hall to change your mind. Have Coruscant. In fact, get rid of the Star Cruiser and have a totally immersive immersion where you get to go to Coruscant. You get to walk through Tatooine. You get to go to Corellia, okay, Coronet City. You get to hang out in Dagobah and have Yoda, have a show with Yoda. You get the Death Star, okay? You have the Death Star, and you have the Emperor's throne room, okay? You have a ride, trench run ride, okay? Keep the Millennium Falcon, but change the story and get rid of the woke shit, okay? Get rid of that stupid rectangular sensor dish and put the round one on that Han liked, okay? That's what he had. Make it so people want to have fun. Well, Troy, no. Kathleen Kennedy really fucked up. She listened to the wrong people. Don't listen to Pablo Hidalgo. Don't listen to the woke folk. All right. Here's the problem. I just got into an argument with some asshole who claimed that they're never getting rid of the sequel trilogy. Okay. Did you buy any of it? Did you go to the movies over and over again? No. The woke folk don't buy shit and they don't go to movies. They just want that shit to be in there because they're like locusts. You know, they infect one franchise after another. And when they're done with one, they fly off to another one. Okay. That's what they do. Okay. I've used that scene from Independence Day. And I got into a fight with them. I said, look, fine, you read it. 3 of your friends have read it, but no one else has because no one else cares. Okay? Marvel is being cut out of Star Wars. It's going back to a Dark Horse, and Clownfish TV insists that, oh, they're just going to do the High Republic. You know, my thing is when you hear people just offhandedly just say shit, um, I agree with you on that. They don't know what they're talking about. And I've noticed that a lot on some of the bigger channels that they're look, if it bleeds, it leads. And there are a lot of really negative people out there. Okay. They don't understand how this works. Um, they don't understand that Disney is a for-profit organization. They have to make money. This can't be happening anymore. Okay. It's just when people start bitching about all this, you're like, they don't want it to be good. And I'm going to say this. If you've given up, you're a chicken shit. You're a coward. Okay? You're a coward. Well, I'm not frustrated because I see the end. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just sick of hearing about it. I really am. I almost blew up today a couple of times. And it's like, how can I possibly make the world as miserable as I feel? I know what I'll do. You know, it's like, go for a walk. Go confess to a, go talk to a priest, a rabbi, a doctor. Well, it depends on what channel it is. Um, you know, too many people are now saying that Kennedy's no more than a figurehead. But these people take her position and think it means something, and it's meaningless. I mean, how would you like to be the Queen of England and have an idea to help the economy? Because she's a very well educated woman, and realize that she can advise the Prime Minister and advise the House of Lords and advise the House of Commons, but they won't enact what she wants. Oh, I know. You're right about that, John. I mean, I could name them. Okay, they don't, you know, you, I worked in Congress. I've seen actual politicians fuck each other. All right, literally, backstab, I saw John McCain do that to the president, not Trump, but W. I've seen I saw people do that to the House leadership. Give you an example. When I was up there, and I wasn't there to witness this, but a friend of mine was because she was working for a Georgia congressman at the time. And she was on the floor with him. And there was a big vote coming up about something. I can't remember what it was. And Dennis Hastert, I know, gag, if you know anything about him, he was Speaker of the House at the time. Also a genuine pervert, I guess. I did not know that. He really wanted this vote to go through. And it did, but not all the Republicans voted for it. And there was this congressman named Gilman. I'm not going to look it up, but I think he was from Ohio. He was a squish from Ohio. He voted against it, and it barely crossed the line. For you foreigners, here's how it works. We have a bicameral legislature, an upper house, which is the Senate, and lower house, which is the House of Representatives. House of Representatives actually represents the population of the United States and of each state that these representatives come from. The Senate represents the states in area. There are 100 senators. There are like 500 and, or yeah, something. There's like 400 and some House members, okay? And the House of Representatives is crazy, okay? I mean, it's a food fight at times, all right? When I was up there, there was a lot of food fights, okay? So, and it was always interesting, but here's the deal. There are rules. There are rules in the Senate for procedures. You need 60 senators to vote for something. In the House of Representatives, it's a simple majority. All right. One vote can carry a bill. Okay. That vote went down to like 3. And Hastert had been promised by that Congressman Gilman that he would vote yes on that, and he didn't. And I know my boss was like, I ever get my hands on him. But Hastert, you could hear him all through the House chamber. Where's Gilman? Total fuck job. They needed this thing to pass with a fairly substantial majority, and it didn't. And he was pissed. Gilman goes sliding out the side door into the cloakroom, like flying out of there, because he knew he was dead. I mean, they were gonna kill him. That's one form of backstabbing, but the other one is, telling W, I'm going to vote yes for this, and then turning around and saying, nah, fuck you, I'm going to vote no. John McCain was really good at that. John McCain liked to side with the Democrats a lot. I'd love to take back every vote I had for him. But what was it like working in Congress? It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I saw history being made. I was basically at the tip of the spear for the Department of Homeland Security being formed. I was there talking to, I had to take people who were testifying about what happened on 9/11, the widows, some of the wounded, to the hearing room, which is right across the hall from where I worked. The president would stop by, which was like, you're standing there and, all these congressmen, like Tom DeLay, who was the majority whip, would sit in the office when they were having hearings, because he was on that committee, that that panel, and we'd talk, and he'd be looking at the Hill or some other Hill newspaper, and we'd be talking about stuff, and I'll never forget, it was the opening day of the hearing, and we had taken the boss's inner office. We put C-SPAN on. There was food galore. We had it catered. Okay. There was coffee, there was donuts, there was other things. There was soda. In the evening, there was wine, beer, liquor. And you have it. And the same thing in the majority leader's office in the Capitol. And we would be sitting there. And I was sitting there talking to him. It was the opening time, and we were just yapping. And Pelosi walks in with her henchman, looks down her nose at me like I'm a thing. I did not get up from my seat to greet the minority leader. I sat there and said, just told her where everything was, and basically they let themselves in. And I kind of told the intern, why don't you go with them? He was mad at me. Tom DeLay's looking at me, and he's laughing. And he was like, I thought you were going to explode. I don't like being treated like that. She treated everybody like that. I basically went in the back where the legislative part was and sat with those guys, answered phones, and did my job from there. And if I had to go up front, I would until she was gone. But that's, that. Okay, she was, wow, she is a piece of work. And she was as crazy then as she is now. And there was never a day that went by when the house was in session that my boss, Dick Army, wouldn't do something to piss her off, and he would do it deliberately because he just wanted to see her freak out. Okay, she's a bad person. Anyway, but I've seen this stuff go on. So I know when it looks political, it is. And everything that Chapek has been doing has been political. His appointment was political. Okay, it would always be political. However, the fact that he came out of nowhere and it doesn't occur to everybody is the thing that absolutely startles me. Okay, because that was insane. That should have been the message saying that there's a new boss in town. Okay, that was the message, and no one got it. But yeah, I mean, I this is what I think is going to happen. To me, Galaxy's Edge, when I see it, looks bare bones. I haven't been there, but when I see videos and the way people talk about it, it seems bare bones, and it's expensive. People saying that, well, they just priced all the normal people up because they don't want them around. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Okay, don't. That's bias speaking. Okay. I don't look at it that way. I look at it strictly as a business thing. $6,000 for 45 hours seems like a legit thing to do, right? And when you look at it, okay, fine, but what are you getting for it? And they're just, it's bare bones. It's cheap. It's tawdry. It's not Star Wars. It's generic. And I really think that they opened up a lot of this stuff and really did their streaming service unprepared because Iger was leaving and he wanted a victory. Okay? That's why I think they opened up Galaxy's Edge too soon. They listened to the wrong people. All right? And they're paying for it. All right? So that's what I think the problem is. And I think that with the failure of the High Republic and the fact the dog has turned into a gas bag, by the way. Every once in a while, it's like, I got to get out of here. But if you got a big dog, every once in a while, you will get a malodorous stink coming from them. No, I haven't, and I'd like to go. The guys on Midnight's Edge were talking about how great it was, and I would think Disney, that would remind Disney of what it should be doing and what Disney really is. And so far, it's like, no, I haven't been to either. And I've only been to Disney Anaheim as a kid, little kid. And I want to go back, but I'm not going back until Galaxy's Edge is fixed. I can't. If I see Kyle Ron, I'll say something shitty to him and get kicked out. All right. I mean, and that's another thing that's wrong with the hotel. What person who can afford this, okay, this huge, epic vacation. You go to sit down with your family, and Daddy Butcher shows up. Where, yeah, silent but deadly. That's a dog. Where in the world did they think having a character that is not popular by the very notion that Hasbro's not making them anymore. Where do they get the idea that that would work? I mean, and the idea that Disney doesn't want our business is bullshit. Okay, stop thinking that way. All right, that idea comes from people who feel bad about themselves, not about you. All right, it's about making money and paying stock dividends to the investors and the shareholders. That's what it's about. That's all it's about. And they're not getting any money right now. They're not seeing any bang for their buck. And we should be very skeptical when someone says something like that of them, because they don't understand what's really going on here. Okay, so let's go further. We got Dark Horse Comics taking over Star Wars again, and of course, it's been rumored that it's just gonna be High Republic. It's not gonna be High Republic. Okay, they can't. And now, and Dark Horse Comics is being sold, or they're shopping it to a movie studio. So watch Universal get that. Okay. And Mexican Iron Man had a good point. He said at some point they're going to have to sell some of their assets. I would sell the Muppets. They're not using the Muppets. They basically ruined the Muppets. And I'm sure Universal would buy it in a heartbeat. Okay? And do it right. Okay? I'm sure they would. Would they sell Lucasfilm? They're not going to sell Lucasfilm. As long as Bob Chapek is there, and as long as they've got as much money as they have invested in the parks with Star Wars, they're not going to sell it. Sell Fox. Maybe they could. I mean, that's, Bob Iger's tenure at Disney has been nothing but buy. And it put Disney in a horrendous debt. Okay? That's not good. Okay? I don't look at him as being successful. I know he thinks he was. The Stoned Republic. Well, that's what it is. I mean, so we've got all that, and I want to talk a little bit about that. But about Susan Arnold, I agree with Cameron Pasha that this is the end of Wokeistan at Disney. I don't care what anybody says. If they're doing knee-jerk reactions, they're not fans, and they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so let's talk about rabbit chicken. Okay, guess what I bought? I got a rabbit, about that big. He's thawing out right now, and I got some skin-on chicken thighs. So tomorrow, and I'm gonna film it, everything I do. Hopefully it'll turn out. It may be gross, I don't know. I'm going to take the rabbit and cut it up in pieces, like the chicken is. I'm going to take some of the pieces. I'm going to freeze the rest of it. But I'm going to take half the rabbit, half the chicken, and I'm gonna put the rabbit in flour. I'm gonna put salt, pepper, a little bit of cayenne, and a little bit of paprika in the pepper or in the flour. Mix it up, and then dredge a rabbit in that. The chicken I don't think really needs it, though I might just do that too. And I'm going to sear it in my big roasting pan. Take that out. Put diced carrots, celery, and onions, and mirepoix, the Holy Trinity, and put them in there to soften. And then I'm going to add a fourth saint to it, three cloves of garlic minced into the thing, and I'm going to let them soften up. And then I'm going to put wine in it. Let the alcohol, white wine, of course, because when you guys see what I'm doing, rabbit is a white meat, and it's a very dry meat. Okay, it's looks like chicken. Okay, It's sweeter than chicken, but it looks like chicken. So I'm doing it like a chicken. I've got sage, rosemary, and thyme that I'm going to put in a bundle and just put it in there. And I'm going to put the meat back on top of the veggies and let it, soak up some of the wine as the alcohol evaporates. And then I'm going to put enough chicken broth to just do half of the meat. That's how you braise. I'm going to cover it tightly with tin foil, put it into the oven at about 350 and let it cook. All right, I'm braising it. Okay, I'm braising it. And I'm going to make polenta with that and probably roasted Brussels sprouts with bacon. And my husband's going to go, "What the hell are you making?" And then when I'm done, I will get a picture of it so Mike has one so he can show it off to everybody. I'm going to take pictures and video of each, and I'm going to do an upload when I'm done. But it should be pretty funny. I'm not going to have any wine with it just because I don't. Not going to mess with that on the weekdays anymore. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to do rabbit, chicken, and see what happens. Okay. I mean, I think you could take these. I know you can do this with chicken, but I think you could probably do rabbit carnitas. Kojak is fine. He's right here. So we'll see, but it should be pretty funny. I mean, if it's rabbit, chicken, they want, then a rabbit chicken they're getting. Okay. The moment I heard rabbit chicken, I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. And the other veggies I'm going to put into the braise, I'm going to put a couple of different kinds of sweet bell peppers in. And we'll see what happens, So, anyway, but about this Susan Arnold thing, you guys, I wouldn't really be too upset, okay? I wouldn't worry. I am kind of confident that the investors see Disney as being in trouble, which is why they put Chapek in charge. And about Kennedy, she's nowhere to be seen. In fact, I kind of put it out to Doomcock that I think that they pulled her off of Indy 5 for whatever reason. And I think that's why she and Frank Marshall weren't in England at all. Okay? Something's going on because with that movie, because WDW Pro insists on saying she's an executive producer. So Steven Spielberg. George Lucas is getting an executive producer spot too on that. That's the Producers Guild rule. They have to. And they get money for it. Okay? So you got two guys going. You got your lead going, what the fuck? And probably the director going, I can't direct this. Something is going on. Regardless of what it could be. Okay? Anyway, I gotta go because I'm gonna make a German cookie called Pfeffernuss right now. So, you guys be good, behave. I will see you all around the galaxy. And, as we get closer to the Book of Boba Fett, it's coming. Anyway, this is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.